Shalom, shalom. First off, foremost, I must give all honor, praises, glory, and respect to our Heavenly Father and His only begotten Son, Yahweh, Bahashem Yahushai, Bahashem Rakagadash. Why they have Bahashem Yahushai give me a spirit through His lesson. Must give double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone for the mighty work that they do, and also a mighty shalom to the whole flag watching out there. It's like it, shalom. It's brother Naya come back to you another quick lesson from GMS Camp Gary, Indiana. It's like it. Don't try. But life is about a box of chocolates. You never know what you're gonna get. But in this case, through Yahweh Shai, through the scriptures, we know what we're gonna get. Okay? And as being an Israelite, the so-called black, so-called Hispanic, so-called Native American Indians, we have a job and duty to do. For the whole duty of man is to serve the Lord and keep His commandments. Okay? So the Lord told us what's going to happen. And He also told us throughout the scriptures and prophecy what's going to happen before it happens. But we specifically don't know what's going to happen in our own lives, but we know what's going to happen in this world as a whole, right? Because, we understand the scriptures through the Rakakadash, the Holy Comforter, which gives us our remembrance, okay? It gives us the spirit to interpret and understand the words of Yahweh Shemiah Shai. Okay, and Yahweh Shemiah Shai said if we serve Him, we're going to be blessed. If we don't serve Him, we're going to be cursed. It's plain and simple, right? So this is why it's better to serve Yahweh Shemiah Shai in truth and in spirit, okay? And with all our heart and all thy soul, okay? We need to trust in the Lord with all thy heart, okay? And lean not into our own understandings, okay? This is bigger than us, all right? We have to get out ourselves and get our own mindsets and trying to, it's all about the Lord, glorifying Yahweh Shemiah Shai. That's it. We're mere mortals, okay? We're nobodies. And at the same time, we're gods, okay? Know ye are gods, all right? Lowercase g, because we have been given special abilities and powers, and that's only through Yahweh Shemiah Shai. Okay, but we haven't reached that pinnacle yet. That's to come in the kingdom of heaven. All right, but without further ado, life is about a box of chocolates. But this is what you're gonna get. Okay. This is Deuteronomy chapter 28 and verse 1. And it shall come to pass, if thou shalt hearken diligently, okay, we shall listen diligently, pay attention diligently, okay, with discretion and with all seriousness, okay, and intent, okay, and what's the word? And let's just say continue. I can't think of the word right now, but just forget it. Slakia. Unto the voice of the Lord Yahweh Shemiah Shai thy power, to observe and do all His commandments, okay, which I command thee this day. The Lord commanded us to do this. Okay, for His laws are not grievous to us. So He's doing this, He's forcing us to do this for our benefits. Just like when we force our children to be a certain way, to do a certain thing, the good parents, because we know what's best for them. We've been it, we experienced it. All right, and we don't want our children to experience certain things. But will they listen? No. And if they don't listen, what's going to happen? they're going to have to experience the bad part of life. Okay? Quote unquote. That the Lord, Yahweh Shem Yahshai, thy power, will set thee on high above all nations of the earth. Okay? We're a royal priesthood. All right? We're better than every nation on this planet. Okay? And that's by far. All right? Because we're a special people until Yahweh Shem Yahshai. All right? We're the salt of the earth. Okay? And this is what we get if we serve the Lord. Okay? And all, verse 2, and all these blessings shall come on thee and overtake thee, if thou shalt hearken unto the voice of the Lord Yahweh Shem Yahushai, thy power, our power. Here's our power. Okay, so we're supposed to listen to our God, period. It ain't hard. It's not hard. It's blessing. Okay, we'll be blessed, right? Skipping down this verse, and then it states all the blessings that we're gonna receive. But for time matter, I got to skip down. Salakia. But verse 9, the Lord Yahweh Shem Yahshai shall establish thee in holy people unto himself. Okay, so we're like the Most High. Okay, so that's why we have to be that, that standard. But why Yahweh Shem Yahshai, he left in election. Okay, to obtain that and to maintain that standard, right? Because the rest were blinded. The rest didn't want to do it. They didn't want to get it. The rest of our people, 2/3 of our people, they were like, "Nah, I don't want to do that, man. I want to do my own thing, Okay, and we gonna read what's gonna happen when you gonna do your own thing. Okay, continuing on, as he have sworn unto thee, right? He's a covenant, and we broke our covenant. We made a covenant with Yahweh Shem Yahshai and we broke it until this day. Okay? If thou shalt keep the commandments of the Lord Yahweh Shem Yahshai thy power and walk in his ways. Okay, we gotta walk in the ways of the Lord. Okay? This is the way, walk ye in it. Okay? Yahweh Shai, our chief cornerstone, showed us what to do and how to do it. Okay? But he's the light of the world. He paved the way for us. Alright? Verse 10, and all people of the earth shall see that thou art called by the name of the Lord, Yahweh Bahashem Yahushai, and they shall be afraid of thee. Right? So when we go back, return to our power, they fear that. The demons, these heathens, the dang devil, they are afraid. Right? That's why they don't want you to know who you are. They don't want you to know where you came from. Okay? They don't want you to return. They want you to serve other idols. Remain on Jesus. You know what I'm saying? That's what they want. They don't want you to know Yahweh, why Yahweh Shai. Okay? Period. Because that's when they tremble at the name of the Lord. Okay? Skip down to verse 15. And this is what happens, okay? If you refuse to do what, refuse to hear the voice of the Lord. Okay? Deuteronomy 28:15. But it shall come to pass, if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of the Lord Yahweh Shem Yahshai thy power, to observe, to do all his commandments and his statutes which I command thee this day, that all these curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee. Okay, and then it lists all the curses. And that's why we going through all this. Alright? That's why we gotta go to our enemy for the want of all things. You know what I'm saying? That's why our women are leaving us. Okay? That's why women don't respect us. That's why our children are being murdered in the middle of the street. There's over the weekend, this 8-year-old girl got killed in a shooting. So most likely she wasn't the target. Straight bullet. You know how I go in Chicago. You know what I'm saying? Not everywhere. That's a misconception. I ain't everywhere. It's just certain places, you know. But it's why we don't own nothing. Nothing major. In the business we do finally own, eh, they go bankrupt. Okay, and we got the grand opening, grand closing. Okay, this is why we at the bottom of the totem pole, because we're cursed. All right, and the only way that we even can be an inkling on that level is we have to sacrifice our soul unto the devil, and he gives us that gift and luxuries that they get to have, because the earth been given to the hand of the wicked. Okay, so we gotta go to the wicked to get some of their treasures on this side, in this earth. Okay, and you gotta sell your soul. You don't get it back. All right, and you gotta do these terrible, stupid rituals